Hello students. So during this video, I am going to go through this Nearpod presentation on the agricultural revolution. We have already inserted your notes in your social studies notebook. So as I'm going through this presentation and as you're going through this presentation, you should take down the notes in your interactive foldable. Do not pay any attention to this code. The one that is on Canvas should be student pays, therefore you don't need a code. First of all, I want you to pause the video right now and take this quiz. It's only 6 questions and it's on prehistory. It's on things on prehistory that you should already know. So go ahead and pause the video and take the quiz. Let's talk about the answers. Which of the following is not a type of hominid? So remember that a hominid is another name for early man or early human. Homo erectus, Ardi, and Homo sapien are hominids. Apes are not. Apes are just apes. What is prehistory? And most of you already know this. Prehistory is a time period before writing. What was the most important tool during prehistoric time? Stones, tools, iron, fire is the correct answer. Stone tools were used during prehistoric time, and then iron wasn't even developed until after prehistoric times. Early humans were hunter and gatherers and were nomadic. That means that they moved from place to place looking for food. Which period of the Stone Age is characterized by the um, development of writing? I think that's what it says. And actually, it's none, because remember I said that in the Stone Age there was no writing. So none of the periods of the Stone Age had writing, so none of them were the correct answer. And which early human is nicknamed Upright Man? Homo erectus was Upright Man, and Homo erectus was actually the one that developed or could make fire. So now, early man started in Africa. So the oldest bones, Ardi, was found in Ethiopia. And as as they were moving, because again they're nomads, they had to move from place to place looking for food. As they were moving, they went up to what is known as the Fertile Crescent, and it's called the Fertile Crescent because number one, fertile means that you can easily grow stuff there, and crescent because it's kind of like a crescent shaped. So all this right here is the Fertile Crescent, and they settled here because there were sources of fresh water, most importantly the Euphrates and the Tigris River, and here's the Nile River as well. So again, early man started in Africa and they made their way up into the Fertile Crescent. The agricultural revolution marked the beginning of the Neolithic era. And so agriculture means the growing of plants and the raising of animals. So your notes say, what changes marked the beginning of the Neolithic age? Uh, the, the, the changes that marked the beginning were the use of agriculture. So in your notes, you need to put agriculture marked the change or marked the beginning of the Neolithic era, or otherwise known as the agricultural revolution. And basically what agriculture is farming, growing plants and raising animals. Domestication, another important thing that happened during the agricultural revolution is that people learned how to domesticate or tame. In other words, they wild things that you just have, like dogs used to be wild, goats used to be wild, sheep. They tamed them for human use. So when was the Neolithic age? The Neolithic age started. Oops, sorry. The Neolithic age started around 8000 BCE. And it says, how did life change in the Neolithic age? What new technologies did they have? Well, the new technologies that they had were domestication and agriculture. And also, people were able to specialize in labor. What that means is that not everyone needed to be a farmer. Not everyone needed to go out into the field. So they started specializing and they started being housewives, they started being teachers, they started being all these different kinds of jobs. Just like in today, not everyone is a teacher. We have cops, we have judges, we have doctors. And so because they weren't dependent on always finding food, people were able to now have more time to do other things. So that's one way. How did life change in the Neolithic age? People started to specialize in jobs. And here's some more technology. So pottery began. They made it using clay. It became a specialized job. So there were people specifically devoted to making pottery. And the plow. The plow is this thing right here, and it's pulled by some oxen. And that's another animal that was domesticated. So it was pulled, and it made farming a lot easier for them. There was a surplus. And what a surplus is, I need you to write this in your notes. A surplus is whenever there's too much of something, too much or just enough. So a surplus can be good and bad. First of all, surplus is good because you have enough food. It can be bad because if you don't eat all that food, it could go to waste. So there was more food, and so therefore people could settle in just one place because they knew how to grow food. They didn't have to depend on nature for their food. And finally, writing began. They um, they started writing because also as people started to farm and do other jobs, they needed to trade. So, for example, if there was a if I was a farmer and someone else was a, I don't know, made pottery, I would trade what I grew for their pottery, and we need a written record. So that's why writing um, started during this time period. And of course, the development of writing marked the end of prehistoric period. So another new technology that they have is writing. And how did life change? People were able to stay in one place. They didn't need to be nomads anymore. Once people began farming, it became impossible for them to return to being only hunters and gatherers. Why do you think this was so? Well, they became accustomed to farm life, and the population was too large to survive as nomads. They needed a food surplus. So to end this lesson, I need you to do this, the following, um, fill in the blanks and then check your answers here. I don't want you to cheat. I actually want you to try. All right. Thanks, students.